today's Eucharist, the words are open for us in so many different ways. As we hear the wonderful advice of St. Paul to the Ephesians, children, obey your parents in the Lord. Honor your father and mother. And we have many, many opportunities to do that. The Lord thus gives us that command. And so we also will remain Matilde Cavazos, and many of our sick and elderly, many of our others in our family. So the great advice is not only that to take care of, honor our father and mother, but also that you may go well with you and that you may have a long life on earth. So it comes with a promise. So it's just an encouragement, and so that we don't fall into the categories of as the Pope Francis says, the wasted people in society, the throwaways of society, so that we have become so used to. And everything we make it obsolete. So then a year or two is no good, and you start all over again. So we're getting so used to that, and even with food and with other things. So keeps us reminding them. So fathers also, do not provoke your children to anger. So another wonderful. Then even it says slaves. Be obedient to your human masters with fear and trembling, in sincerity of heart as to Christ, not only when being watched, but as slaves of Christ, doing the will of God from the heart, willingly serving the Lord and not people. That's a good advice for us. Although the slavery has been abolished, but nevertheless, I think we are subservient one to another. And we need to, then as we obey each other, we have to realize that we can go beyond just obedience to one another, to obedience to Christ. It's another level. And so that our motivation is always much more profound, and our reward will be much more profound. So wonderful advice, even though so that we may make ourselves a slave to the others. After all, he wasn't our Lord himself, made himself slave to us. So no wonder the Pope Francis reminds us to be humble as part of the incarnation. Masters act in the same way towards them. It says we are all in the same boat. We have a master above us. So what a wonderful advice St. Paul says to the Ephesians, and it carries to every one of us. And so we ask that the Eucharist may be able then to open up this kind to the advice that there's given to us, when it's not just an advice, it is a divine instruction. Mm-hmm. So the Church is so right when we say in the Eucharist before the Our Father, being taught by divine teaching, we say Our Father, and these are also divine teachings. So let us then continue with the Eucharist.